Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are very happy to have with us the athletic director at CHS, Andrea. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
Okay, nice day for sports outside.
Absolutely, nice and warm, and it's supposed to be warm all week, I think, until Friday. And then it gets cold.
Just as long as it doesn't rain on Friday.
Are they calling rain?
No rain Friday.
Possibility.
Great.
We can deal with rain, no lightning.
You're inside, though. You say you can deal with rain.
Well, I know, but I'm saying as far as the show
We can
going
play,
on.
yes. The show
you
can go
play,
on in rain. No lightning.
We can
Absolutely.
broadcast. We don't have to send it back for music
Sure.
or anything. So.
Nice.
Well, we'll put that order into the weatherman and see what happens.
My favorite weatherman, Randy Ollis, retired though. So.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I know. Oh well.
How are things going at CHS?
Going pretty well. Tournament time has started.
It is underway.
So we've got a lot of teams that are competing.
Mm-hmm.
They started last week with boys tennis. And then this week we've got boys soccer, girls soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Am I forgetting anything? Yeah, so that's this week. The next week is cross country, football, and no, just cross country and volleyball, and then football is the following week. So a lot of things happening.
Tennis, what about it? How's it doing?
The boys won the sectional championship on Friday night. They defeated Rushville 5-0. To get to that championship game, they defeated Union County 5-0. So they go to Center Grove tomorrow. They have a 4:30 start, and they'll be playing against Waldron.
That's a regional.
That is a regional, first round of regional, and then the championship for regionals will be on Wednesday night. So they'll play the winner of Center Grove and Perry Meridian.
We stand a pretty good chance, don't we?
We do. If looking at the other two schools, I mean, they're competitive. They're indie
Sure.
schools. You know, they have more indoor complexes to practice at. But for the most part, our boys, they work very hard, and we're pretty young. So I think they have a good shot.
I think so.
Yeah,
Chris
absolutely.
does a good job with them.
He does do a fantastic
Chris
job
Bloom.
with them. Yes,
Yes.
he does.
Sectionals, as you mentioned, get underway. A week-long event almost for the boys and girls.
Yep, so boys soccer starts tonight. They play at New Palestine at 6 p.m. The girls play tomorrow at 5 p.m. at Beech Grove.
Okay.
If boys win tonight, they'll play Wednesday at 5, and if the girls win tomorrow, they'll play Thursday at 5.
Both teams have good, strong winning records.
They do. They play really hard. If you haven't seen them play this year, they are a force to be reckoned with, I think. Our boys play hard from the first whistle to the very last one. As long as they can keep their penalties down, they should have a shot. We have a great goalkeeper with Tyler Garrett. He works hard. He doesn't let a whole lot of balls past him, so that's great. And then, you know, you have that offensive part of the team, Nolan Shaw, Jasper Martin, Eli Schlichty. Those boys with Connor Graves, they just they're everywhere.
Yes.
Naylor, he's on the ground, up, round, back on the ground. I mean, they're just really fun to watch, very competitive. The girls, they played last week against Greensburg on senior night, and probably the best game I saw from those girls. Having fun, always have great sportsmanship, always helping another teammate or a teammate from the opposing school, basically helping them up. But they have a great goalkeeper with Michaela Strong. She does a great job of keeping it out, I guess you could say. Then you have Gwen Higby, who's out there, Kendall Frank, JC Allen. I mean, those girls are everywhere. So I think both teams have a very good shot to make it to the championship on Saturday next week.
Hopefully we've got good facilities here at CHS. I think that pays off, don't you, in the long run?
It does. I think our biggest issue with our facility is the turf. We play on natural grass, and a lot of the teams that we're going to see and a lot of the places we go are turf. So that's the biggest issue because of the way the ball moves. So it moves a little slower.
A little faster on the turf.
Yeah, it moves a little slower on ours and faster on the turf. So the boys will play at New Pal, which is turf. So it's going to move quicker than what they're used to. We do play a lot of schools that have turf, so that's a good thing. Beech Grove is also, I believe, turf. And so the girls are going to see the ball move in a little bit faster. So a little bit of a change in how you approach practice and preparing for that.
Well, I think they can handle that. I think they'll be ready for it.
They play on it enough during the year. But yeah, our facility is fantastic. We've had some really nice nights the past 2 weeks where we've had the lights on and playing under the lights. Got rained out last week with the girls. Had to play on Saturday, but it's a nice change of pace. We get a lot of compliments on our field and our grass, and where our restrooms are, concessions, the lighting, the parking. So
That's great.
a lot of people
It's all
compliment
right.
on that
It's
one.
all right there close.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
It's great to have that at CHS. I mean, we can be proud of what we have here at CHS.
Yeah, we can. We can. Like I said, we had a lot of compliments. I think it was against a Greensburg game. A lot of the parents hadn't been there since the new press box and things had been put up, or the lights had been put up, and
Yes.
a lot of people complimented on that. So,
I suppose we should talk about football, I suppose.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Spartans went to East Central Friday night.
Yep. Traveled to East Central. It was actually a beautiful night.
Well, perfect.
You could smell the bonfires happening off the side, and the sun was down. I think that's why they wait till 7:30 to play, because the sun was
The way that
peaked down.
the way the field lies there, but
Yeah.
yes, and they're to be commended down there. They have great facilities, and I don't know where all those people come from, because it's just
I
kind of out.
didn't think it was that busy though. Like I don't know. Looking up, I know you kind of sat at the press box behind him, but it just didn't seem like they had packed the stands like I thought they would have.
It was well, I think some of them left by halftime,
Gotcha.
but the way they showcased their little kids too,
Sure.
and that took a little longer than we might have liked, but you got to commend them, and what a terrific program they have. Defending 4A state champions, and look to maybe repeat this year, ranked #1 in the state. They are the real deal.
Yeah, they are the real deal. That ringer, trying to go up for Mr. Football. So he got his yards.
He
They
sure
made
did.
sure that he stayed in way longer than he probably should have. But yeah.
I
The
think
fourth
they
shutout of the season already for that team.
I think so, and
Yes.
they probably will have another one this weekend. They host Greensburg, so I would think Greensburg, I believe, is 0-6 and 0-7. Yeah, 0-7. Anyway, it's hard, I know, for them. They like to play Cincinnati schools, and I think they got Roncalli or Chittard or somebody coming up
Ron
this
Conley,
week.
their final game.
They probably need some competition, some stiff competition, getting ready for them to go into tournament time.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
But
Our
we
boys fought.
we can
Yeah.
aspire to do that.
Our
And
boys
Coach
fight.
Lynch-
They fight very hard, but this was the week where a lot of our kids came back from injuries. So we've had a lot of kids that have been down with injuries
Yes.
the past week or two, and so this was the first game that some of them were back.
And shorthanded, yeah.
Absolutely.
We've been shorthanded.
Yep. Then we had a couple of kids get hurt before the game, so that kind of threw a little bit of a wrench in with the.
had one
defense.
that had stomach problems.
Yep. Stomach problems. We had one that had a little incident with a chainsaw right before he got on the bus, so that kind of threw some things off.
But according to Coach, no Trojan flu this year, and
Yeah.
Trojan flu in the past, we've had some kids that just didn't want to play the Trojans. So,
Sure.
so you got to stand up and take your licks, I guess, sometimes. And our kids this year are willing to do that, and I'm proud of them for that.
Yep. They
and I
stayed
thought-
positive.
Stayed positive, good sportsmanship.
Good sportsmanship. That was one thing I
Sure.
was going to address. I mean, we've struggled with that for a couple of weeks, and we're getting tired of getting hit hard or things not going the way we want, and we've kind of acted out. And I saw some glimmers of greatness with some of our kiddos that normally would have thrown in the towel and got upset, and
Yes.
they kind of stepped back and thought, okay, let's take a deep breath, let's move on. So I mean, that was nice to see.
It was. Those kids overall are a great group of kids. So
They are.
It's possible we saw the championship, the 4A championship in football Friday night,
Yes.
East Central.
very, very much so. Now, I don't know how this, and I don't quite understand the success factor, but if they would win again, I would think they would probably move up a class, wouldn't they?
They should. It's 2 year. It's usually a 2-year thing. So they won last year. If they win this year, then yes, they'd have to move up.
Now, I'll editorialize a little bit about that. I guess that's all right that they would move up and we wouldn't see them in the tournament. However, I think it penalizes some teams that it penalizes the next class up if they're not as strong.
Sure.
Then those that have gone before them have made it harder for them.
Sure. Absolutely does. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's one right way or one wrong way. I mean, with classes and class sports now, I mean, it's different all the time. Yeah.
While I'm not a proponent of class sports, I do understand it in football. I
Sure.
think there's a need for it in football. But Not in some of the other sports.
6 classes in football, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Thursday or the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, they play the finals at Lucas Oil.
Yep.
3 on Friday and 3 on Saturday.
Correct. Correct.
And later on, they'll determine which classes play where, or
I think so. I don't know a whole lot about the football tournament. Haven't looked a whole lot into that one. But I'm pretty sure that's how they work. Like which ones, if it's like even on one day, odd on
I
the
think
other,
so,
or the
yes.
top 3, bottom 3, like number wise. I'm not sure.
one of these years, the CHS Spartans will be in
I hope so.
be at Lucas Oil
I
for
hope
that.
so. Yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
It would be great for them.
It would be. It'd be a good experience. They played there this summer. They did like a summer scrimmage, I think is what it was. They
Yes,
weren't in there.
they
They didn't
were.
play very long on the field, though. I think they were on the field maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I think is what they said. But that was a neat experience to be in something that
Sure,
big.
sure.
A couple years ago, regular season game, and I forget, it might have been EIAC,
South Dearborn?
somebody.
Okay.
We played up there, and it was a great experience for
Yes.
for the kids and the fans and
Sure.
and the old broadcasters, and we had a good time. So
Problem is
hopefully
they
we
charge
can do
you
that.
so much to
Is that right?
go do those games. I mean, they charge the fans. I mean, for a normal high school game, you
Right.
know, you're used to paying $5-6, and you go up there and they want 25, and then concessions are $10. So I mean, it definitely they get their money.
They
out
get
of
their
it.
money. Costs a lot to turn the lights on in there.
It
though.
does, absolutely does.
It's a great facility, though.
It is.
Yeah, I have to find that. Very good. And so, it's great to have you join us here tonight. And I know we're still in fall, but winter sports right around the corner.
They are. I think girls basketball is the first sport that gets started. Their first official practice is October 16th. So
About 2
they'll
weeks.
be about 2 weeks, yep, because their first scrimmage is October the 28th at Alexandria. So that's right around the corner. Then swimming is close behind that one, as well as wrestling, boys basketball,
Yes.
and then gymnastics. So gymnastics usually doesn't get started until after Christmas. I think they
Right.
usually do their preview in late
Yes,
December,
it is.
early
In
January.
December
yes.
they open yet.
Yeah, so a little bit of time for that, but the coaches are in working with kids, lifting weights, running, getting ready.
Do we have coaching situation straightened out for swimming?
Still looking for another swimming coach.
So people that's watching here
Yes,
tonight,
if
if
you
you're
know
interested,
anybody, please let us know. We are looking for boys, girls, whichever one. We have one coach and we have an assistant, but we are still looking for a head coach. We've had it out everywhere. We've posted it everywhere. We can't find anybody. So it would be nice to
it'd
have.
be nice to have because those kids need a coach.
Absolutely, they do.
In order to participate.
And I don't know anything about swimming, so I would not be a very good coach.
I know it's wet.
Yep, and I know you jump in and
Yeah.
you get out and you make turns, but I'm not very good at swimming.
That's
so
about it. Not your thing, huh?
yeah,
It's fortunate that we can't find someone to do the swimming.
it's tough, and I think the hardest part with the winter sports is the amount of time it takes. I was having a conversation with my kiddo this morning, and I'm like, well, you do know that your first scrimmage is over fall break, which means you're going to practice every day over fall break, and you know those winter kids don't get a fall break, and those winter kids don't get
That's
a winter
true.
break for Christmas because they're practicing every day, probably
Or
even Christmas
events
Eve,
and-
or they have events, and then you know they end, and then of course there's spring break, but you know they miss a lot of those breaks, and as a coach, that's a lot of time that you have to give up for your family. So
Even spring break, if they go deep into the tournament,
Correct. They
that,
could.
that overlaps.
pending how early our spring break is, absolutely. It definitely could affect that, especially with boys basketball. Girls are usually done by then, close. But yeah, I mean, and people don't want to do that.
Right.
And that's sad. I mean, it's sad to say, but that's the reality of it.
I think it's surely shooting the gymnastics, but we're lucky here at Connersville to have a gymnastics coach
We do.
year after year after
Well,
year.
even just to have a team, I think there's only 65 teams total in the state of Indiana. We will have 4 other schools competing with us this year.
Okay.
Northeastern, Union County, Franklin County, and Milan is actually going to send a gymnast up this year
Oh, okay.
to train with us, and then, of course, to compete for their school.
Yeah.
Well, they'll learn from the best.
They will.
With Joanne.
will.
So
She is the same as she was years ago, 30 years ago, probably 40 years ago, people will say. But yeah, she's tough.
and the coach with the most seniority among your coaching
She
staff.
is probably, I don't know about Sandy. Is Sandy Toshlog close to Joanne?
Joanne's been at it longer, I would
Okay.
say.
Okay, probably so
Sandy,
then.
Sandy started about the same time I started with broadcasting.
Okay, so then yeah, Joanne is probably the longest running coach there. Looks the same, coaches the same,
Right.
girls respect her,
Knows what she's talking
knows
about.
what she's talking about. Yes, she does.
Yeah, she has turned out some good teams with
She has.
CHS. Right, we're lucky. Let's look at the schedule for this week. At CHS on Monday, we have JV football home with East Central. Volleyball will be at Waldron. Boys soccer sectionals begin. On Tuesday, the tennis regionals go underway. Girls soccer sectionals begin. Volleyball home with Rushville. Wednesday will be boys tennis in the regionals. Volleyball home with Knightstown. It's JV volleyball, or is it?
It's both. It's
Okay, I wasn't
JV,
sure.
it'd be senior night for the girls.
And then Thursday, we have the soccer sectionals continuing all through the rest of the week until Saturday. JV volleyball will be home with Knightstown. On Friday, the Spartan football home with Lawrenceburg. On Saturday, JV football tournament. Is that a conference tournament?
Well, it's a JV volleyball, but we are not going to that tournament
Okay.
this year. So that's one thing that we,
Okay.
the coaches weren't able to get to.
The cross-country conference meet, so that's the conference teams in that?
Correct.
Okay. And that, what, is that here?
That is at Greensburg. Greensburg? Greensburg, Batesville.
Okay.
One of those teams that are close to, those towns that are close.
Down on I-74
Yeah, it's either Greensburg or Batesville. I'm sorry, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's okay. And the sectional championships continue both for the boys and girls, and we hope CHS can get a couple of crowns this Saturday in sectionals. That'd be great.
I hope so. I think the girls are at, I think the boys are at 2 and the girls championships at 7, or maybe it's flip-flopped.
And did I see volleyball sectional that we drew a bye?
We drew a bye, so we don't play until 10 a.m. on Saturday on the 14th.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, 12 days away.
yeah. And then
Well-
volleyball is Tuesday. Tomorrow they're having pink out. So they're doing their pink out game against Rushville. And then Thursday is the volleyball senior night.
Where the sectional winners go?
You would ask me that, Fran. You're not supposed to quiz me on that stuff. I honestly can't remember. I know we're at
That's
Batesville
okay.
for sectionals, but I can't remember where we go
Okay.
for regionals.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. That's fine. I thought I will punch your tickets. So
Yeah,
you can,
I can't remember. I usually try to go a week at a time, Fran. So
I understand.
I honestly don't remember where they go. I'm sorry.
Well, they go someplace. Hopefully, both
Yeah,
of them go.
they go
both
somewhere.
teams
Hopefully
go
not very
somewhere.
far away, though. Hopefully it's not like
That's good.
Silver Creek or somewhere down south.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I hope the boys and the girls do well in the sectionals.
Yes.
As we talked about earlier, they both have good seasons so far.
If our girls win, we host soccer regionals. The
Oh,
first
good.
round of soccer
Oh, that's
regionals.
good.
Yes. So we could potentially have a home soccer match next
that'd be-
Thursday. I believe it's Thursday for the
terrific.
girls and Wednesday for the boys. But we don't host the boys.
Okay.
And don't ask me where the
Well,
boys
that's
are
good.
going because I can't remember that
Okay.
either.
But that's okay. With the girls, that'd be great to have them
Yeah.
locally. That'd be swell.
Yeah.
We'll look forward
Good
to
advantage
that.
for us.
Here's some of the scores from football. As far as the area teams are concerned, the Spartans, of course, 2-5, losing 64-0 to East Central. Franklin County is 3-4 in the season. They lost 38-6 to South Dearborn. Rushville is 2-5, losing 48-34 to Lawrenceburg. Richmond is 1-6. They lost 50-8 to Logansport. Cambridge City is 1-5. They lost 62-35 to Union City. Union County is 0-7, losing 63-14 to Centerville. And Centerville, with that win, are perfect on the season, 7-0. So the Bulldogs having a pretty good season.
They do. We have some friends who play. Their oldest son plays, and he's a senior there. And I've seen them making posts, and they've had a really good season.
Yeah.
They beat some teams
And-
pretty badly.
They bumped up to Class 4A.
I believe so. Yes,
right.
I think so.
Does that mean down the road they might be on a CHS schedule sometime?
Maybe
you get a
potentially. Yeah,
vacancy,
we are
sure.
looking for a Week 6 opponent for next year for football because of our contract with Speedway. They've changed
Oh.
conferences, so they
Oh,
need to
okay.
fix
Oh,
that.
It's hard to get someone that week, I know.
It is very
It's
hard.
early.
It's very hard.
You can fill early ones and maybe a late one, but that middle of the season's tough.
It's hard. I've got 2 schools that are interested. Coach Lynch is not interested, though. So one was Heritage Christian, and then the other one was an IPS school. Can't think of it off the top of my head right now. I know they're like 31 out of 32 in 6A. I can't remember who it
6A,
is.
that's,
yeah. so we got a couple out there, but
And Heritage Christian,
It's a
about,
2A, but
about
they're-
14 years ago, I'm going to say we played them. And
Okay.
that was not,
didn't go well.
didn't go well.
Okay.
Didn't go well up there at their place. But yeah, it's hard to find somebody. I know we've been to, one year we went to Prairie Creek, I think it is, and been down maybe to Tell City. It's just,
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's very difficult. So we're trying for week 6. So Ryan's like, well, we'll wait. We'll get a school that's a community school. I'm like, Ryan, that's kind of hard when there's only 9 games a season and you won it the 1 week. So finding another school that's moved around
Yes, tough.
is a challenge.
The sectional draw comes up pretty quick here, doesn't
They're
it, for
next
football?
Sunday. Yeah.
Next Sunday.
Well, this coming Sunday is football draw.
And hopefully the football lords are looking favorably at us, and we get to host the opening round again.
It would be nice to host. I don't really want to travel.
I really don't want to go back down to East Central in a few weeks.
No, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go to Martinsville. Don't really want to go to Jennings County, Edgewood.
Edgewood, I don't know where Edgewood is.
So I
By
think
Bloom-
somebody told me it's west of Bloomington.
west of Bloomington, and
Silver
and Silver
Creek.
Creek's almost to Louisville.
Yeah, I don't know that I really want to do that.
Yeah.
I'd rather host at least the first one.
Yeah.
How many
Or if
hours
we
a
had to
week do
travel,
you-
Shelbyville wouldn't be too bad. But
No, that wouldn't be bad.
yeah,
That'd be the closest of them.
yeah.
How many hours a week do you spend on the phone trying to get schedules and teams lined up?
Well, this time of year is not as bad with getting teams lined up because we usually have contracts that are more than a year. But daily, I'm probably on my phone 2 to 3 hours, whether it's texting or calling.
Sure.
Lots of emails come in, lots of emails go out. Right now, we are kind of finalizing the winter season for swimming. We had to pick up a couple of meets with swimming because a couple of those expired last year. So those gymnastics, we host pretty much everything. So just making sure those teams are still coming. And then, of course, the Wrestling Classic is our big monster that comes up
Yes,
here in
yes.
December. That's kind of a cuss word right now, the Spartan Classic, because it just takes so much to get going. But trying to figure out what teams are coming, how many wrestlers they have, so we know that our
Oh, wow. That's
brackets are kind of full. A lot of wait list people who we need to contact and see if they're still interested in coming back. So just a lot.
that's a really popular event, isn't it?
It is. So right now we have 32 teams. We're looking at expanding to 40.
Wow.
I don't know what that looks like, but the guy who is running our track wrestling told us that we could do some kind of piggybacking. I don't know what that means, but if he runs it for us and it runs smooth, then let's piggyback it, I guess.
That will be in December.
December, yep. So it'll be the week after Christmas. Well, I guess not really the week after Christmas. Isn't
Between
Christmas like
Christmas on
Tuesday or
Monday,
Wednesday?
I think.
Monday?
I
So it'd
think.
be the Friday, Thursday, Friday. 27th.
Transportation and officials, you're probably on the phone a lot working with that too, aren't you? That I mean, for all your teams.
Sure. So I work with Daryl, Drew at Transportation. Katrina she starts it. She sends everything to Daryl. Daryl calls me or emails me if there's issues. Like he texted me last night. Do you have the volleyball draw yet? Yes, I'll send it to you in the morning. Hey, what do you need for tennis? Well, what if tennis wins? What if tennis loses? What if soccer wins? What if soccer, so that's with Daryl. And then officials, I can honestly say that I have every official for the rest of the year filled. That's tough.
Yeah.
So everything is filled at this point. Now, if someone calls, backs out last minute, one of my
Sickness.
officials for soccer on Saturday, son got rained out for tennis. And so he had to play on Saturday, which meant he couldn't come on Saturday for us. So just communicating with the other 2 officials. But yeah, that's probably one of the difficult parts of the job. Now, football officials I have for the next 2 years already scheduled. Boys basketball officials I'm still working on. I have their crew chiefs, but I don't have who's working with them yet for some of them this year. But I have all of them for next year done with the girls and boys. So try to stay ahead to get the good ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hate to say that there's
get
not great ones, but there's some that I
some that are
prefer
better,
not to come
better
to
than
Spartan Bowl.
others.
Yep.
Yeah. Some that we prefer not to see.
Correct. Correct.
There's a Christmas holiday basketball tourney coming up, isn't there, for Spartan Bowl?
We are not hosting this year.
Oh, okay.
Before Kerry left, he wanted to go to Lawrenceburg because him and Cutter wanted to play in a tournament down there together. So we are going to the Ray Fernie
Sounds right.
Classic down at Lawrenceburg. So we'll play some teams from Ohio, and there's a team from Alabama coming up. So we're going down there to play in that for the boys. And then the girls picked up Frankton, which is another 3A school. And they're also playing Northeastern this year, which Northeastern has a pretty good squad. So the girls dropped their tournament for that one.
What are the dates of those tourneys, do you recall?
27th, I think. I think it's the Wednesday after Christmas.
Okay.
Something like that.
So the girls aren't in a tourney. They're playing just individual games. But the boys will play, I think, the 27th and 28th.
Now you can play so many games, like 22 games if you're not in a tourney, or 20 plus a tournament. Is that
Yeah,
how
it's
that works?
22 with no tournament or 20 plus one tournament. And then you could play as many games in that tournament as you want to.
Right.
Now, you could play a tournament, but then you'd have to count each individual
As-
game. So, like,
as
we
regular
could be
season.
in 2 tournaments.
Right.
Like, the girls play in a shootout at the beginning of the season with Southport.
Southport,
Oh, we changed the
Ritter.
team. I don't know if Ritter's in it. I know
Decatur
we changed
Central.
a team. Maybe it's Decatur Central, Southport, and I think the Cardinal Ritter dropped. I think we're with somebody else now.
Okay.
But we could count that as a tournament because it's multiple games in a day. But we choose to count it as individual.
Regular season.
And that way they could have had their holiday one. So
Does that rotate sometimes, come to Connersville?
that one does, yes. So it's at Southport this year. I think we host the following year.
Okay.
I think
So
it
the
was-
beginning of the
I think
season.
we were at Ritter last year.
We were.
Yeah.
Yes. We were.
That's quite a beginning for the girls right off the bat, isn't it?
Decatur Central's pretty tough.
And then after that, the week after that, New Pal and
It's pretty tough.
and Mount Vernon, and you remember
Gotta get 'em
you remember
ready.
you remember going and playing Mount Vernon early in the season.
I do. Well, actually, I
Did
don't
you?
remember that game. I think they didn't start playing Mount Vernon until I
Until
left.
you graduated.
Yeah, I don't remember
always
us playing
tough.
them because everyone talked about it. I'm like, we didn't play Mount Vernon.
Okay.
But I don't think so. I don't think we did. Maybe we did and I can't remember it, but
That's been a few days.
it's been a few days. I've slept a little bit
Been a
since
minute.
then. Maybe a few hours since then.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite game or something in your high school career?
Well, it's kind of funny. Hoosier Basketball Magazine came and interviewed. I didn't know I was going to be interviewed, by the way, Sam. But they came and interviewed a couple of people, and Sam was one of them, and Sandy, Mark Beard, and then Coach Williams.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, they interviewed me, and they said, well, what was your favorite memory from the Spartan Bowl? And I was like, well, I think my fondest one was the Martinsville game. So we were ranked number 1 in the state. Martinsville was ranked number 2. And it was winter. It was during Christmas. It was one of those pickup games because we are going to beat Martinsville
Like
to
on
show
a Wednesday
them.
night.
Yeah, it was like a Wednesday night. Snow was crazy. I think they plowed to make sure Martinsville could get here. Like, it was one of those where we were bringing snow plows to get them down here to play. it was bad. Bowl was packed. There wasn't a seat open. They brought in bleachers to the top corners
Yes.
of the bowl, which is a fire hazard now. But they brought in bleachers for fans to sit in, and then it was just standing room only at the top. I don't know how many people we had, but I think probably close to 5,600 people. in that
Yeah, I
bowl.
was going to say the bowl.
We got beat by 2.
You know, when they asked me, I cited that same.
Yep.
What's your favorite? And I said girls
I
basketball.
should have asked Shayna. I never did talk to her afterwards to see what she said, but probably like Coach Robbins drop kicking a basketball, and who knows. But that was probably my favorite one because I've never seen the bowl with that much excitement. And
for a girls game.
yeah, and then turn around and then play them at Southport with the same kind of crowd at Southport, same team,
Yeah.
and got beat again. So that's okay.
Andrea, thanks a million for
Absolutely.
dropping by and joining us for tonight's program. And good luck to all the Spartans, all the sectionals coming up, and we hope we get a lot of championships.
I hope so. Need more trophies.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. Have a nice evening.